Keith Oliver is considered as the architect of modern supply chain management. He coined this term back in 1982. You will find plenty of reference to Oliver and Weber 1982 in the research papers of supply chain management. Keith Oliver is a management consultant based in the United Kingdom. It was late 70s or early 80s when Keith was working at the London office of the famous management consulting firm Booz Allen Hamilton. He was working for the famous electronic manufacturing company Philips. During his project, he noticed that the components in Philips television traveled an average of 30,000 miles or approximately 48,000 kilometers before it reached to a consumer in the United States or in Europe. Because of this longer lead time of the raw materials and for the other factors, it was a common practice among European and American companies to carry higher stock level to meet the volatility in the demand. Keith has been of the opinion that carrying higher stock level is not an answer to the volatile demand. At the same time, Keith was also impressed by the way Japanese were managing their production and inventory. Keith, along with the other consultant at the management firm, carried out a study on 1,500 major companies from across the world. The purpose of the study was to understand and highlight the different ways of managing the production, inventory, and material movement. The study revealed that the average stock investment in the United States and in Europe in automotive industry was 10 to 12 days of supply, while in Japan the same figures were less than 24 hours. This practice of carrying the higher inventory level was burning a hole in the pocket of those European and American companies, as a good amount of working capital was blocked in these inventories. Let me explain this with an example. You're running a multi-brand mobile showroom. The average sale of a particular handset in a month is 10 units, and you place an order with the distributor once in a month for a stock replenishment. So how much quantity would you order in a month? 10, 12, or maybe 15? Basically, you are free to order any quantity. The only thing which you have to look at is that how cost effective that would be. The ideal solution here is to find the right balance between customer demand and their stock level. If a customer walks into your showroom and does not find what he is looking for, you most likely will lose that customer. On the contrary, if you are carrying a higher level of inventory, your working capital is blocked until the stock is sold out. Now let's do a simple mathematics to understand the financial impact. Let's assume you pay 10,000 Indian rupees to procure 1 unit of the handset. Therefore, you pay 100,000 Indian rupees to buy 10 units of the handset. At the end of the month, all 10 units are sold out. So you got your invested capital back along with the profit at the end of the month and you're ready to reinvest. Now let's say you're going to procure 20 mobiles instead of 10. So your total spending would be 200,000. At the end of the month, you are able to sell 10 units of the mobile, which means that you have gotten 100,000 back from your invested capital, and the remaining 100,000 is still stuck in the inventory. Now ask this question to yourself, was it a wise idea to buy 20 mobiles in a month while your average monthly sale of that particular handset is just 10 units? You could have bought 1 or 2 additional units to meet the volatility in the demand and have invested the remaining amount to buy another brand of the mobiles to expand your portfolio. Or you could have invested that amount in your branding or to improve your customer service. The point here is that you could have used that amount for a better purpose without denting your customer base. This exactly was the challenge which Keith wanted to address through the lens of supply chain management. In his opinion, if the teams like sales, marketing, production, logistics, and finance work together, they can reduce a significant amount from the inventory. Basically, there won't be any need to carry higher inventory level to meet the volatility in the demand. Japanese had already learned this formula and implemented it to a greater extent. Take Toyota production system for instance. But the people in the West had a couple of challenges and they were still carrying higher inventory level to meet volatile demand. Keith started formulating an idea around breaking down the functional silos which separated the production, marketing, sales, and finance. He wanted to bring in a process to reduce the inventory level and improve the customer service. The project was initially called as Integrated Inventory Management or I2M in short form. Later, it was changed to Supply Chain Management. He talks about the idea of supply chain management in an interview with the Financial Times on June 4, 1982. It is the first recorded instance when the term supply chain management was used. This sparked an intense debate between logistic and supply chain management. Though the term supply chain management was first used in 1982, the underlying idea of supply chain has a long history. The process of managing the chain of supply has been at the core of all the businesses. Different companies were managing it in their own ways. Toyota production system was quite popular at that time. Toyota had developed a process for production and inventory control, which is commonly known as just-in-time or lean manufacturing, or Toyota Production System, TPS in short. Toyota developed this process back in early 1950s. In a research paper published in the Journal of Operation and Supply Chain Management, the researchers argued that the origin of supply chain management goes back to the term logistics. The first reported use of logistics can be seen during the time of Alexander the Great, but the formal advent of the term logistics can be traced to the ancient wartime of the Roman Empire. They had appointed a special military officer who was responsible for the supply and management of resources. Similarly, we find many examples of logistics being used in the campaign of Genghis Khan and Napoleon. But during all the while, the term logistics was mainly used to describe the movement of goods for military operations. It was during World War II when logistics became critical to support the movement of troops and supplies. The military schools intensified the use of term logistics and expanded their scope to include other functions such as procurement, material management, transportation, and other stuff. Logistic became talk of the town, but the word logistic is so connected to the transportation that it could not embrace the terms like procurement, material management, and maintenance. And that is when the term supply chain management was born. Since then, the supply chain management has become a phenomenon and has been stealing the limelight because of its ability to minimize the risk and uncertainties in the business operations. You've enjoyed the video. Please feel free to leave a comment if you need any additional detail or any part of the video. And hey, don't forget to give a thumbs up if you liked the video and share it with your friends.